Okay, so as you can see, my topic is the use of contraceptives and feral horse management. And the point of this is that feral horses take up a lot of space sometimes, and farmers out farmers aren't always interested in sharing their land, so the job of controlling the population and making sure that these horses aren't taking up excessive amounts of land and taxing the economic system is very important, and that's where contraceptives come into place. So, wild horses and burros in the U.S. In 1971, an act of Congress was passed titled Wild Free Roaming Horses and Burros, and in this act, they sought to create a policy to manage, protect, and study feral horses because they're considered a symbolic part of U.S. history. Well, the United States Bureau of Land Management and the United States Department of Agriculture, specifically Forest Service, were appointed as the agencies to carry out this management, and there are currently almost 40,000 horses, wild horses and burros that they're managing in 179 herd management areas. These herd management areas take up about 32 million acres of land and are located within 10 of the western states of the United States. So it's a pretty big area, and it's kind of important to keep things in check because unregulated, it's projected that the horse population will grow 18 to 25% per year, which means in about 4 or 5 years it'll double from what it is now, which means double the amount of land and double the amount of usage of the land that's available, which is not so good. So, contraceptives were a proposed method of controlling the horse population as opposed to rounding up, attempting to adopt, or euthanasia, which is kind of what we're trying to get away from right now. And there were a lot of contraceptives that were tried, including hormonal implants, intrauterine devices, testosterone propionate for male horses, as opposed to working on the mares, but none of these were considered acceptable due to public image, and then there were also several requirements that the Bureau of Land Management wanted the contraceptive method to meet, including at least a 90% efficacy rate, the potential for reversible effects. So when they stopped using it, they wanted the horses to be able to get pregnant afterwards, of course, so it should wear off or be reversible in some way. And also, remote administration was an important one, and that it not be harmful to horses, their health, or pregnant horses, that not harm the mare or the foal in utero. So a lot of these weren't considered viable means of controlling the horse population. One method that has made it through a lot of testing is porcine zona pellucida. It's a form of vaccine, and the way it works is that it promotes the production of antibodies, zona pellucida antibodies in the mare, which decreases the ability of sperm to penetrate the ovum and therefore decreases the ability to for mares to get pregnant. It was deemed safe for mares. There were no adverse effects noted aside from maybe a mild reaction at the injection site, a rash at most, but this was not considered debilitating to the horse, so it's not going to be a problem for use. And then one of the best things about the method is that it can be delivered in several ways through a syringe dart, as you can see in the photo, or by hand if they're corralled, or with the jab stick, also if they're corralled. but delivering the vaccine with a syringe dart, while the horses do become, they don't care for the dart, it does increase the distance that agency personnel can have, therefore increasing their safety, but also it causes less stress to the mare, which is important because you want to cause as little stress and pain to the horse as possible, just due to animal welfare. So, this method of immunocontraception was very effective, as I said, over 90%, which it passed. And also, it depends, how long the vaccine lasts depends on which type of vaccine that gets used. Some of them, such as the liquid form when it's prepared for injection, will only last 7 to 10 months, whereas a pelleted form that is heat and time released will last as much as 2 years. So the frequency of administering this vaccine is dependent on that and can help with personal labor, reducing the amount of labor required, and things such as that. So the economic viability of this method, it's actually really good. It would only need to be administered annually or biannually. It has a very good efficacy rate. The only problem is that some horses are not affected by the vaccine in the same way, and therefore, or rather mares, so they won't respond to the vaccine, but this is a small percentage of horses, and if we can cut down on other horses having foals, then it's still a very useful method. In addition to that, a study was done projecting the advantages, or the financial advantages of using porcine zona pellucida vaccine, or PZP. And well, right now the Bureau of Land Management receives $71.8 million per year just to manage these horses, but it was estimated that this can be reduced by more than half of that amount in a span of 20 years. So that would be really effective, in that money, almost or over $35 million, could be put to usage in other areas of the government that need financing, or other aspects of feral horse management if necessary. So that would be a good thing. So just to tie everything up, by decreasing the population, or at least controlling it, we decrease the demand for land and the wear and tear that the land that they're on receives, just because it's not trying to support so many horses. It also gives farmers the ability to use the land for commercial agricultural means, crop production, or commercial animal raising. This method is very safe for horses. It's safe for pregnant mares and mares that are not pregnant, and it's very effective in its use. Also, it decreases the labor requirements of the Bureau of Land Management, as well as the Forest Service, the USDA Forest Service, so that'll be very nice, and that they can direct their efforts in other places where it can be more useful, because they've now got this very nice tool. And it's cost effective. It saves the country almost $35 million, it's looking like, over the course of 20 years, which would be pretty amazing if you ask me. So that is my spiel for contraceptives, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And here are my references.